like something big got it.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
The first video tonight comes from the Hoggett Project, a US-based outdoor camping and bushcraft channel focused on real-time wilderness trips, gear testing, and survival-style experiences. It is February 2nd, 2025 in the United States, a remote lakeside area with adjacent protected bogland. While building a fire and cooking at their campsite, the atmosphere is calm until it suddenly shifts. One of them reacts to a strange sound coming from the darkness. He describes it as sounding like someone being chased, immediately introducing tension into the otherwise quiet night.
There's squashes down here, guaranteed. How's your dog?
I'm having another, I'll tell you that.
A long time ago, ladies and gentlemen, around this specific area, I was going to the bathroom and I heard something crashing around. And this is before all the development happened. I looked outside my window and I saw something at least 8 feet huge. It was bulky. When I went outside and I turned up all the lights and nothing.
Later in the night, loud splashing erupts from the lake. The sound is forceful and repetitive, as if something is striking the water aggressively. Despite the noise, nothing can be seen.
That was wild, wherever that was. Morning. Hard to say what's really happening and what's not. Felt like there was like a dog or a pig or something of that size that crawled underneath me and pushed my body up. I was just imagining they were going for my pack, sniffing that out for food, but I don't know. I have to listen for the audio and see what we got.
As they attempt to sleep, the tension peaks. Travis describes feeling something beneath his hammock, his body being pushed upward as if a large presence is directly underneath him, interacting with the ground below. Moments later, another violent sound comes from the lake. It's described as something grabbing a goose and slamming it against the water, an intense, sudden noise that suggests significant force from something unseen. By morning, the events remain difficult to explain. While some sounds could be attributed to wildlife, the consistency of the disturbances and the physical interaction beneath the hammock introduce a level of uncertainty that's harder to dismiss. No clear visual confirmation is ever captured, but throughout the night, something appears to move through the area, staying just out of sight, close enough to be heard, but never clearly seen. Before we move on, if you're enjoying the video so far, leaving a like really helps. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. We recently passed 50,000 subscribers, and that's entirely because of you. The next target is 100,000 before the end of the year. Ambitious, but worth aiming for. There's a hidden word somewhere in this video. See if you can spot it. Now, let's continue. The next horrifying video comes from Colorado Forest Beings, a US-based paranormal exploration channel focused on deep forest investigations, Bigfoot activity, and unexplained wilderness encounters. Known for documenting strange structures, knocks, and possible interactions with unseen entities in remote areas. It is September 5th, 2019, in the United States, a remote forest area associated with Bigfoot sightings.
That's a full-on tree there.
Yeah, full-on tree.
And you imagine how much work it would be to get all these equal length sticks here?
A lot of work.
Just to find that many?
A lot of work. And the thing is, like, they're like stuffed into the ground, and a lot of them have roots. So Tim had a great idea to leave these offerings here like this, and then me and him are gonna go and get some camping equipment, and we're gonna come back over here and sleep here tonight. Home sweet.
The team arrives at a remote woodland site filled with unusual stick structures, teepee formations, and large crossed trees that appear deliberately constructed. They examine the structures closely, noting the effort it would take to build them. Offerings are left behind, and plans are made to return and camp overnight.
Giant X over there, and we got the other teepee here, and then we got all this straight up that way is where the action happens. That's happened to me. I got my shoulder squeezed in there, deep in there. It's really odd. It could be a ghost. Tim, you think it could be a ghost, like squeezing your shoulder?
Yeah. Really could. Someone who disappeared here, whatever.
While setting up camp, one investigator recalls a previous visit to the same location. He describes feeling something physically squeeze his shoulder, adding a more personal and unsettling layer to the environment.
We're over there.
I'm getting goosebumps and everything here.
I am now.
Let me give some light to the background so these guys can see what we got going on here. It's getting pitch black out now. We're not going to flash too many lights. I'm just looking here inside the camp, making sure all is good.
A sudden sharp noise is heard. It sounds like something jumping or moving quickly, just out of sight, causing the team to become more alert. As darkness settles in, another sound follows. Something lands nearby, possibly a rock, close enough to suggest that whatever made the noise is not far from the campsite.
We just had howling sounds. I'm not saying, it's like coyotes. Right?
I can hear you like so good, and mine is muffled
Yeah,
because it's closer and louder.
right.
But you're like clear as like a fine wine.
Yeah, so you can hear the noises afar.
Oh yeah.
But if there was a loud
I hear
bang
every
here,
little crunch that your shoe makes.
I take those headphones with me in case I'm ever caught in a situation in the forest where I gotta be able to hear.
Moments later, a distant howl echoes through the forest. The sound is unclear, adding to the uncertainty of what might be surrounding them.
That was a nice knock. That's the stick I had to poke the fire, but okay. Thanks, Tim. It's all good. No, use that one. Let's get another one. Tim's a teammate. It's going pretty good.
Then, the forest goes quiet. The sudden silence creates a noticeable shift in atmosphere, amplifying the tension. The team attempts to recreate the knocking sound using a stick. The comparison reveals a difference, suggesting the earlier knocks may not have been made by anything natural nearby. The activity unfolds in waves, periods of silence followed by sudden knocks, movement, and unexplained sounds. Some of the noises appear to react directly to the team's actions, creating the impression of something aware of their presence. Despite multiple attempts to identify a source, nothing is ever seen. But throughout the night, the sounds remained consistent, close, deliberate, and difficult to explain. Whatever was in the forest seemed to be watching and responding. The next chilling video comes from The Abandoned Camper, a solo adventure channel focused on overnight camping in unusual or eerie locations, often combining abandoned exploration with bushcraft-style setups. Known for calm, immersive filming and real-time reactions in isolated environments. It is July 24th, 2023 in Canada, Ontario. Approaching an abandoned asylum around midnight, the explorer moves cautiously through unfamiliar surroundings. He repeatedly checks behind him, already on edge as he gets closer to the building. The isolation and darkness make even small movements feel significant.
I see a building. I also just heard some voices.
Then something unusual. Faint voices can be heard nearby, along with what appears to be a light source. Unsure whether it's real or just a reflection, he slows down, becoming more cautious as the tension builds.
Something just ran up behind me. Anyways, I was trying to record this building for you, and I was facing it, and something fucking comes running at me from this way. Holy crap, I wish I got that. Okay, that was so freaky. Okay, well, I guess here's a good place to tell you guys what this place is. So, this right here, like I said, is Ontario's hospital. This is where they would do lobotomies, they would do shock therapy, lots of other sick kind of experiments like that, which a lot of the information.
Still on edge, another sudden noise triggers a defensive reaction. This time, it turns out to be a large bird, but the abrupt movement only adds to the lingering tension.
One person running at me. I've never had that happen before, and I've seen. And just as I thought I found a good spot, I hear a woman screaming. The road is right behind me. So I think maybe it was just like someone in their car screaming, but still. So while there aren't any cars driving by, this tree and that tree there, I think, are gonna be my trees for the night. The spot actually looks pretty good. I am surrounded by trees completely, and when I get it set up, you won't even know that I'm there, probably. Probably. Anyways, there's like some trees surrounding there. Alright, I'm gonna set up the hammock, and I'm just gonna show you guys my finished setup because I don't really want to be a beacon of light in this little forest next to the asylum and with the road right there. Also, you guys don't want to have to deal with the asylum is across the field over.
After deciding not to stay inside the asylum, he sets up camp in nearby woodland, but the unease follows him. In the distance, what sounds like a woman screaming echoes through the forest. Even with a road nearby, the sound stands out, unsettling in the otherwise quiet night. The decision to leave the asylum doesn't end the tension, it only shifts it. What began as a cautious exploration turns into a night filled with uncertainty, with multiple moments that are difficult to fully explain. Although some events could have natural explanations, the intensity of the encounter, particularly the moment something ran toward him, lingers. The next shocking video of the night comes from Rickall's Outdoors, a UK-based wild camping and bushcraft channel focused on raw, realistic outdoor experiences. The content highlights real conditions such as harsh weather, basic shelter setups, and the challenges of overnight camps without exaggeration. It is January 22nd, 2022, in a remote woodland bunker campsite, United Kingdom. The camper heads out on a rushed trip to a woodland bunker after heavy rain has already soaked the area. By the time he arrives, conditions are poor. The ground is saturated, slippery, and unstable underfoot. He meets up with his companion, who had arrived earlier, and the two begin assessing the setup. The shelter is basic, raised beds and a fire area, but the surrounding terrain is clearly affected by water runoff. Even moving around the site requires caution.
Tom's already set up. I'll put my bed in there, but I'll do that later. As you see, it's super slippery. 3 times here I've slipped over on my back. Dodgy as hell. But that is the wild for you. See the water drains out down there, making it all boggy and slippery. Tom's got...
As they attempt to cook, another problem emerges. The fire struggles to produce enough heat. Despite adding more wood, the setup remains inefficient, forcing the camper to move food closer to the flames just to cook properly.
Good horrible morning, everyone. Another shit night's sleep, as always. I think I'll go stop doing this for a while. I'm getting really peed off and I'll stop filming anyway. Up most of the night, not his fault, but someone snoring. Got cold, a bit cold, so I thought I'd put a bit more wood on the fire. La-di-da, okay. Got a couple hours sleep, how naughty of me. So it starts to rain on the inside. Pitter-patter on my bloom sleep system. So I moved it to the floor.
As night settles in, the discomfort builds. Cold, damp conditions and constant disturbances make sleep almost impossible. The environment becomes exhausting rather than restful.
Everywhere I've done Tom's side soaking wet. That's the closest I could get my stuff to dry out by the fire. Just gonna have a coffee. Excuse the light, but my head torch don't work. Something else. I've got this sort of ration pack thing. It's a porridge with strawberry. Basically, you just put a bit of water inside and...
To make matters worse, his head torch fails. With limited visibility, wet gear, and worsening conditions, even basic tasks become difficult. What begins as a simple overnight camp quickly deteriorates. Persistent rain, unstable ground, and a struggling shelter turn the experience into a constant battle with the environment. There's no single moment where things go wrong. Instead, it's a steady breakdown. By morning, the site is soaked, the gear is compromised, and the camper is left exhausted. With no improvement in sight, they pack up early and leave. A reminder that in the outdoors, it's not always one big event that ruins a trip. Sometimes, it's everything, slowly getting worse. Before we get into the next clip, around 70% of people watching aren't subscribed. We're working toward 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if you're enjoying the video, hitting subscribe really does help. All right, let's get back to it. The last video of the night comes from Strayed Explorer, a UK-based solo paranormal exploration channel focused on real-time ghost hunts in remote forests and isolated locations. It is May 12, 2023, at Cannock Chase Forest, Staffordshire, United Kingdom. As night falls over Cannock Chase, The investigator moves deeper into dense woodland, guided by a random location app. At first, the forest feels calm, but that quickly changes. The atmosphere becomes unnaturally still, almost oppressive. Distant banging noises echo through the trees, followed by sudden silence. The isolation begins to feel heavier with every step.
Is someone there?
While calling out into the darkness, he hears footsteps nearby. There's no one visible, but the sound is close enough to confirm he isn't alone. The sensation of being watched becomes impossible to ignore.
Wait. Not really sure what that is. But yeah, it all of a sudden the birds just stopped. It just went deadly silent. I don't know what that banging is. I've done a bit of calling out.
The activity escalates further. He begins to hear breathing, or something moving, just beyond the darkness. Loud bangs and shifting noises follow, creating the sense that something is extremely close, but still unseen.
Guys, I have no idea what is going on right now. Something's just banged right here. Guys, my hairs are sticking up on end. This place is freaking me out.
At this point, he decides to retreat, but the activity doesn't stop. Branches snap behind him as he moves away. The voice repeats, "I'm watching." And suddenly, he feels something tug on his backpack. That's enough. He breaks into a full retreat, leaving the area in panic.
I am watching. Nah, mate. Nah, I've got to get out of here as well. I'm packing some stuff up.
Off.
Give me that torch. Tell you what, we'll do some spirit box on the way out of here. Listen to this again. Listen to this. Oh, what have I done? Oh. Where is it?
Even after reaching a more open part of the forest, it continues. Movement can still be heard behind him, following at a distance, leaving the impression that whatever was there hasn't let go. The night shifts rapidly from quiet exploration to sustained, escalating activity. Footsteps, voices, equipment responses, and physical interaction all combine into a continuous experience that never fully lets up. Unlike isolated moments, the tension builds and stays. Even as he leaves, the sense of being followed remains, not just something in the forest, but something aware and actively responding. A presence that doesn't just exist, but chooses to engage. We appreciate you for watching. If these creepy encounters gave you chills, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next drop. There's always another mystery waiting just around the corner.